Hi, in this video, I'm going to be going over a few questions from page 8 of your packet. So on page 8, we're looking at some of our angle relationships. Let me bring over my toolkit here as well. So the angle relationships that we're looking at there would be either the same side interior, alternate interior, or corresponding and congruent angles, and also bringing back some vertical angles, potentially. So if we look here, we've got angle 9 listed as 97 degrees. And so what I'm going to look at here is the angles related to this transversal. So they are all going to have the same, essentially, relationship. So 97, I'm going to have a 97 here because they are vertical to each other. I should be able to take this angle here and slide it up to angle 1. Those are corresponding, so those would be congruent to each other. That would also be 97. And then angle 6 would also be 97. It's alternate interior to the 97 degrees, or the angle 9, and it's also vertical to the other angle. And then in order to figure out the other missing angles here, so we've got 2, 5, 10, and 13, you would need to subtract 97 from 180. Okay? You're going to solve the rest of the angles in a similar way. We've got all of these angles here related by the same transversal. So we've got angle 12, that's 114 degrees. So you should be able to identify 3 other angles that have that same angle relationship of 114. Okay, and then you should be able to find the other angles by creating a linear pair or identifying them as supplementary. Okay. On question 3 here, this one's a little more complex. I'm going to kind of make these parallel lines a little bit more noticeable. These are the lines that I'm going to look at to start with. And the transversal that I'm going to work with is this one here. So I'm really not focused on the angles off to this right-hand side here for a moment. I'm not worried about those. So what we're going to look at first here, we've got angle 2, that's 98 degrees. Place that here. For angle 2, if I were to trace it here, let's pretend I've got my little virtual tracing paper. If I were to take that and slide it on the transversal here, that would be the same as angle 5. Okay, so I should be able to place 98 degrees in for angle 5. Then I should also be able to, we've got angle 3 listed as 23 degrees. I'm going to put a 23 degrees here. Okay, so now we've got 23 degrees, and I also know that these 3 angles in total should add up to 180. So that should be helpful in figuring out the measure of angle 4. Instead of being a linear pair, there's 3 angles there, so that would be a linear triple. Okay. And then another angle that we know in this diagram would be angle 8. That is 70 degrees. Okay. And I'm going to focus on a different transversal this time. So I'm going to unhighlight that transversal, and now we're looking over here at this transversal. Okay, so once you were able to figure out the measure of angle 4, so the measure of angle 4 being 180 minus, what is that, the 98, oops, 180 minus 98 minus 23. That was 59 degrees, so I'm going to put a 59 here. Whoops. Got to change this over back to my pen. 59 here. Now that angle is actually alternate interior to this angle here, so I probably shouldn't have undid that, the transversal. That was based on another transversal. That's actually based on, get that one moved away. That's based on this transversal here. So you can see those 59 degrees, those are both alternate interior to each other. Okay. And now that you also know the triangle sum theorem, you could have found it using the triangle sum theorem. That also works. And then your last part to this question is going to be, if I were to take these 2 angles together, So we've got angle 7 now and angle 8. If we were to take these two angles, add them together, I should be able to translate that to angle 10. Once you know angle 10, you should then be able to find angle 9, which should also help you find angle 6. And then angle 1, you can also use a linear pair to determine that. And for this question here, we've got angle 3, that's 54 degrees. And then we've got a 90-degree angle. And then we've also got an angle that is vertical to 53. So I'm going to put angle 3. The vertical angle to that would be angle 6. We should be able to use the fact that angle 1, 2, and 3 add to 180 to help us find the measure of angle 1, which would then be vertical to angle 4. So that should help us there. And then we should also be able to use some alternate or corresponding angles. So this angle 6 here that I've identified should be corresponding to angle 10, which should then translate here. And let's see. We should also be able to take angle 4, whatever that is. So you are solving for angle 4. And you should be able to also slide that onto the end of this transversal here, angle 13, to solve for angle 13. And once you got angle 13 over there, you should be able to then fill in 11, 12, and 14.